Okay, this should be the last part of it. I honestly don't know. I've always used 75% under advanced preferences references. I've used HDTV, Rec 709, 75% color space. It's always worked. It's not for me this time. I don't know. Maybe I'm just doing something wrong, or maybe there's something changed. But anyways, I changed it to just Rec 709, just the normal one, which is what you'll probably want to use anyways. And so I got my measurements here, and I was able to dial in under primaries and secondaries these colors pretty well. The blue, it's just a limitation of my color space in the app, in the display. I couldn't get blue any closer, but again, a delta error of 2.5 is not bad at all. It's a little brighter, as you can see here, than I would like. The delta luminance is plus 14.6%, which is too bright. But that's the best I could do with this display, which is fine enough. And I want to show you, I've been going through it a little bit. I'll show you another way to check your measurements. If you go up to measures, saturations, and then choose a color. I've already done red, green, and blue. I'll go to yellow and hit yes. It's going to take saturation measurements of whatever color you selected, in this case yellow, and you can see it filling in down here on this CIE diagram that I selected here, this CIE diagram. So let me do that with another color so you can see again. Saturation, let's go to cyan. And so if you watch right here, it'll start to fill these in from white to more saturated, or from gray to more saturated, out to the most saturated cyan. So let's hit yes. You can see those yellow dots filling in. So now if you look down here, I have these measurements for cyan. And then we got one more. So again, measures, saturations, magenta, yes. And now down here, it's taking the magenta readings. It's just a way with this CIE diagram to visually see where your colors fall on the chart. And of course, you can go to the CIE diagram itself here. And you can see I'm pretty close to target on most of these. It's just about what my display can do. But the important thing is up here in this drop-down menu, if you select, let's say, red saturation scale, I can see what red looks like at gray, at slightly saturated, more 50% saturated, 75% saturated, and 100% saturated. And the things I look for here mainly is having a low delta E. I want the delta E to be as low as I can get it across the board. And this is pretty decent for me for right now. And then the delta L, I want the delta L to be overall averaging close to 0%, plus minus 0%. So as long as it averages about there, then that's pretty good. So I'm a little bit brighter overall, but that's not bad, not at all. And I can go to this drop down, choose green, and see the same things. And green, as you can see here at 50%, it's off, and it's way brighter than 100% or 75% or whatever. So you can make those adjustments depending on what you want to do. But for right now, I just showed you how to do it at 100% by choosing measure primary and secondary colors and selecting yes. I'll just run through it again. It doesn't take long. But now it's measuring 100% saturation on all the different colors, plus gray, to average out its readings. And there we can see green, blue, red, where they fall on the chart. And you can see them here as well. And their delta error, 0.1, 0.1, 2.4. Blue's the worst, but that's still not bad. And their delta L, their luminance, plus 14%. When it has an equal sign, that means it's exactly where it needs to be. It's plus minus 0. And there it's plus 0.1% for red. So that's how I calibrate. Again, as you can tell, this wasn't very well put together. It's just how I calibrate. So if people can look at what I've done and offer advice on, hey, try this instead, do this, you're doing that wrong, anything like that, I'd really appreciate it. But just a quick recap, I set up my different settings that I showed you in the beginning. And the first thing I did was come over to gamma and use the green color of all the brightnesses to line up the luminance here to get the gamma on target. That's the first thing I did. Second thing I did was go to the RGB levels and then adjust the red and blue to get them to line up as close as I can to the green, which then in turn messed up my gamma. So I had to go through and then readjust my gamma, but now using red, green, and blue evenly up or down to get this lined up again while keeping the RGB levels intact. And that's how I got a nice clean RGB. And then the last thing I did was my colors. I just measured them all and then used the 3D CMS, the color space management system or color management system to adjust the red, green, and blue of all the different colors, the primaries and secondaries, red, green, blue, cyan, yellow, and magenta. And that's how I got to where I am now. Hopefully that helps you, and hopefully you can help me with anything. Appreciate it, and see you next time.